Let's see here. I'm probably saying your name horribly wrong. Well, you'll tell me shortly here. Oh wait, what? Why is Discord saying I don't have a mic? That's weird. Cool. Okay, we're just waiting for him to join the call. Finished day 6 of Dintober. Oh my gosh, congratulations. That's exciting. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Dintober has started. We also have a channel in there if you're doing any other October challenges where you can just post your stuff. I'm actually doing 2D drawing in there. I don't see any call, mate. What? What? Can you message me? I'm so confused. What's your graphics card? I don't know. A 2080, I think.
Alright.
Oh, hang on here. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfectly. I sorry I don't saw the call. Took me a
Oh,
while.
let me turn you up on the Discord. But I think you're good actually. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I think that's maybe where we can start.
Yeah, well, I'm Tudor. I'm a student, fourth year in the Netherlands. What can I say? Last year, trying to find a place where I can do my graduation and enter the industry, so to say.
Nice. How did you get into 3D? You just decided to go to school for it, or has it been something you're
Ah,
interested in for a while?
kind of a strange story. So I think it's like the classical story when the guy likes to play video games,
Yeah.
knows knows nothing about them, and then I started using Discord into beta, and then they were looking for some people to join the team, and a dude from there just sent me, "Hey, we have this openings you are interesting," and I was like 15 at the time, and I saw 3D artist, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And after that, I don't know, just liked it and
Oh
decided to go
man,
to school for that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I don't know,
No, that's
but
I mean,
yeah,
no, that's great. Because it's funny. It's like some people are like, oh, I was a cook for blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, it's like, dude, I was a believe it or not, I was this weird Abercrombie and Fitch uh, person at the door before I got into games. Uh, yeah. Anyways, let's look at your portfolio, and we can answer questions as we go. It's pretty organic, just kind of going through everything. Do you want to just start from the beginning? I don't know if you're watching the stream at the
I'm
same
watching
time.
it. I'm watching it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to start on the right and just go left?
Yeah. I mean, that's the order I did the project. So from right to left, it's like the oldest from the newest.
Okay. Cool. Um, I'm clicking, and why is ArtStation like? No, now's the moment. I will fail. We'll just give it a second here. Oh man, you got this, ArtStation. I believe in you. Cool.
Uh,
Okay, so you've got a modular
or
building.
yeah,
Do you want to talk about like was the goal just to be modular with this, or because it looks pretty low
yeah,
poly as well?
yeah. It should be like a low poly modular kit that you could like do some variations of it and fill up a scene with it. That was
Right.
the goal with quite a small kit.
Cool. And this is a year ago. How long did you say you've been in school?
So this is my fourth year now,
Okay.
and started 3D in like the second year. So it's like 2 years of experience, something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's about for me. That's kind of how it started. It was like they wanted us to do a lot of 2D stuff first, and then
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
second half it got into 3D.
yeah. Same here. got also a bit of programming and research stuff the
Oh,
first year.
really? Oh man,
Yeah,
I couldn't program myself out of a corner. Um, just being honest. uh, so yeah, I mean, I guess with this being a year old, we won't feedback on it too much, but maybe I can look at the presentation of it all. So like right now, we've got multiple UV sets that are being presented. You could probably do this on one image, just to save some
yeah,
scroll time.
yeah,
Um, and then when we look at like, if I click on this image, when we look at the geometry here, I wouldn't expect you to fix this now, because I mean this is an
yeah,
older piece. But if I
yeah.
screenshot this, and we just look at the wireframe, you probably know this now, going forward. But you wouldn't want to like you'd want to cut these edges out
Yeah,
and just focus on like keeping the poly count. It's the same with
yeah.
these ones. Um, but yeah, I think when it comes down to this piece, I think it's good for showing like, oh, I'm understanding modularity, showing it in use. Could be cool to like do, I don't know, 4 or 5 buildings and show some variation in the way that you're using the pieces, just to break up the and show
Mhm.
the set off. Um, and then the only other thing I would say is don't be scared of using more geometry. So like with these harder edges, um, there's it's definitely
Yeah.
really low poly. Like you could probably run this on mobile quite easily, actually.
Mhm. Yeah.
But again, this is a year old. We can progress through the portfolio and just kind of talk about the
Yeah.
rest of it. Is this PBR as well?
Yeah, PBR in Substance Painter.
Okay. Yeah, that's another thing to maybe start listing out as well, is like what tools you're using, just so that people understand like your skill set. Because if we go to your profile, and it sounds like in chat, um, our station's a little slow, but if you go to the about section, it's great that you have a summary, and it looks like you've got software understanding here as well, like what you're using
Mm.
mainly. You'll
Yeah.
want to look for um, adding that to all of your work, just in case someone doesn't click on your about section.
Uh, I think I added. I don't know where they should show
Oh, maybe
them.
maybe it's there and I just
I
didn't
don't
see
know.
it. Maybe
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
going crazy. Oh no, it should be like right before the share button and all
Ah,
that. Let me see if in
then
the
maybe
next
I
piece
didn't
it's
add it
there.
for this one.
I mean,
Uh,
it was a year ago as well, so yeah. Because okay, it's
yeah.
right here in the military radio.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this one's 2 months later, or a month later rather. Um,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about like what the goal of this piece was?
Uh, this is part of a bigger project. I did my minor, so I created an entire environment in Unreal. I think it's the next project. So this is like some sort of a hero prop from that
Hmm.
environment, so to say.
Yeah, it's like an asset call out, like a hero prop, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this one, I think you're definitely starting to flex your modeling skills when you show the way you're putting stuff together. Showing your maps as well is really good. There is a few errors that you can see in like the normal map when it comes to like little gradients in the normals. I'm
Mhm.
assuming though that might I would need to see where that's at in order to understand if it's supposed to be doing that or not. My assumption is it's not. um, and then there's looks like a triangulation tear there, but that might
I,
just be a mask issue with the way you're mapping these.
I think it's I missed that in Photoshop probably when
Right.
I
Oh,
put
okay,
them
okay.
all on the top of it. Yeah.
What you could do in the future is like if you like presenting them like this, um, you can either in Substance Designer build it so that there's masks already set up, and then you just plug in the maps correctly, and then you can export out them set up this way, or you can do
Yeah.
like folders in Photoshop and have all the masks set up, and if you name the folders according to the maps, you can just drag the maps into those folders and they'll always line up, and then the mask will already be there and it'll be pretty easy to manage. um,
Right.
yeah, because it looks like you're having some alignment issues as well, with just
Yeah,
putting
I
that
did.
together.
Yeah, I did it by hand.
Yeah, oh dude,
So
hardcore.
that's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, very destructive. um, and yeah, I mean, it looks like so we're just going through your texture maps. The other thing I'm noticing here as well is you're you're kind of checking all the boxes when it comes to material detail. Like you're wanting the edge damage, you're wanting the dust on there. Um, you're trying to separate metals from plastics, and you're getting all of those elements in there. I'm wondering, is it what is this rendered in? Is this Unreal or Marmoset?
I have also from Marmoset. Also, I think the second or third image is from Unreal.
Let's see if I can. Yeah, so it's even
This
saying under the. Yeah, so this one's Unreal.
no, yeah, the more yeah, this one is
Yeah.
Unreal.
Okay. And then you're the one up above is Marmoset. Yeah. So one thing too, I'm not sure if you're adjusting those as well, because like, is Marmoset still a gloss workflow, or have they given you the ability to switch that now? So I don't use it all that often.
Uh, the way so you have the option to set the roughness to gloss, but I set it to roughness.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you can set it to be the same as how Unreal. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so what I was gonna say is you're kind of checking all the boxes when it comes to materials, and like wanting to add all the specific details that add character and like a dust pass and scratches and all that stuff. I think the next phase of the progression of understanding materials is to try and really focus down like okay is this metal or is it paint, and then understanding what your metallic map needs to be in order for that to happen. So with paints,
Mhm.
they're it's funny because it's very literal, and I sound weird when I say it, but it's like if it's paint, it's not metal, and if it's metal, it's metal.
Yeah.
So unless there's metal in the paint, that's when it can get a little strange. Like car paints are a very different beast, but for this type of asset, where you have paint, you could probably just make your metalness black, and then where you don't have
Mhm.
paint, and you have your scratches, those would just be white. I'm trying to see which map is so in your texture maps. You know how you're showing the different maps to be able to
Mhm.
show even in the text below, just in the order from left to right. If you would write what they are, because I know this is normal. I know this is albedo.
Mhm.
This one I'm assuming is the metallic. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then it's roughness,
Roughness.
and then AO. I think I also forgot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it'll be good to know those things and to be able to show people like what that all means, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't. This might be AO, but it's generating in a odd way if it is AO. There's certain details where I'm like, would that wouldn't generate an ambient occlusion? I don't think. But
No, no, you're right.
your roughness has a lot of character in it, which is really nice to see. I think when it comes to the metalness map, that's probably where things are breaking down the most, because when you look at this asset, understanding like what materials are what will be heavily dictated by the roughness value, as well as the if it's metallic or not. And yeah, I'm just trying to like highlight all of the like the big things that are usually pretty early learnings that happen when you're making this stuff. But modeling wise, I mean, it looks like you've been pushing your modeling. Let me see. We can go to the. Did you want to say anything on this asset before we jump to the? Because the next one's a scene, right?
Yeah, no, not really. Not, I don't think it's much to say or anything new that I didn't said so far.
Yeah, and if you have any questions while we're gone, we can totally stop and like
Oh yeah, it's
take a
fine.
second.
Yeah,
um, okay, so we have this cozy room.
yeah.
Is this the same scene?
No, no, this is
No,
like
it's
a personal project that I did
oh
in
okay,
the meantime, like next to
okay.
it.
Oh, and you're still having a bit of alignment
Yeah,
differences when it comes through these. How are you animating these actually? Now I'm
I
curious.
this, this was in After Effects or
After
Photoshop.
Effects. Okay.
Just some screenshots of one after each other because I was I was trying to like render this out like very quickly in Substance Painter, but it doesn't work, or I didn't found the way yet, and probably was too lazy
Oh,
to like
right.
check for a real solution. So I just took some screenshots.
Right.
So
Just like
that's
print
the
screen the.
alignment. Yeah, that's the alignment issue there.
Okay. I guess what is it? The other thing you can do is when you're if you do have to sit there and manually align them, lowering the opacity of the layer and like lining up, like what picking a pixel and lining those pixels up,
Yeah.
will save the day. Um, and in that case, you can also make like a in like Substance Painter, for example, you can add a color to the background, like in the UI, and then use that as like a mask. So you can select that and remove it, and then you can put whatever you want behind it.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me go up to the top here because overall the scene's pretty cool. It's showing that you're thinking about how stuff's modular as well. Still, you're thinking about props and building like a like a bit of a diorama, right?
Hmm.
Um, the walls are nice. Let me see if we can. So right now, I'd say the walls are pretty cool. The aging on the edges is still very uniform. So this is 10 months ago. Dude, you were posting something each month.
Well, I don't know because probably also the timing was a bit off. Probably the building was done before and then posted afterwards.
Okay, yeah,
And I know that I did the scene in Unreal with this one in parallel, so to say. It was like the scene in Unreal was like
yeah,
school project, and that this was my project on the side. So that's why they are so close to another.
right. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. So, okay, when we look at this scene, there is some I'm not sure where. Let me see if I can really get a grasp on the. So there's a corner piece and then a wall piece. Okay, so there isn't there's geometry that's in the middle here. You can probably cut that out and you wouldn't lose anything for it except
Yep.
poly count. You would cut down on polys that you're not needing to utilize. But overall, I would say the walls are pretty cool. It's just a matter of understanding how things are put together. Um, the aging on the sides or the edges being not so uniform, and then thinking about like okay, in if you were to see like a real space, is the baseboard like is the walls usually all the same color, or like uh, is it like this little trim piece here? Like, is that gold on there, for example? Is that like painted gold?
Yeah, painted.
Is it like is it gold leaf where it's painted but it's still basically a metallic?
The way I thought about is like carvings in the wood that's with paint over them.
Okay, so it's just straight up paint. Okay, okay, I
Yeah.
see. Um, yeah, because there's opportunities there to be able to really like play with the surfaces where like um, the baseboard being like a different color or darker or lighter. Usually it would be darker where it contacts the floor just so that there's some separation or from like an interior design standpoint you have like the wall meeting the floor in
Mm.
a visually pleasing way. And then you've got like usually there's yeah, in the US we call it crown molding on the top. It might just be more baseboard but on the ceiling, I don't know. um, elsewhere. But that's also another opportunity to shift colors. The other thing too is like they can be different roughnesses. Like maybe the baseboard and like the crown molding are painted, and if they're painted, then you can shift the roughness just a little bit away from what the rest of the wall is. So even though they're close together, they're still slightly different in their roughness. So you can get some nice like breakup in your roughness maps. But overall, I mean the walls look pretty cool. Is that is that a detail normal on the wall, or is it actually
Um,
baked?
what do you mean?
So there's normal information that's quite small on the wall. Is that baked
Actually,
out?
that's from texture.
Yeah. Okay. So is it's in the shader and it's being tiled a certain amount, or is it like that's what I
Uh,
mean when I say
yeah,
detail normal?
yeah. So it's in the material in the. It wasn't in the high poly, so I bake it on the low poly. It's in the texture itself, tiled.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay. Cool. Yeah, because detail normals are like a really safe way to get a lot of information for, or a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to like the quality of a surface, or being able to make it look higher res than it actually is. It looks like on the chair you don't have that, but when I look at the chair, the things I would say about the chair, I don't know if there's not really a reference, but I think if you had a reference with this, let me see if I just make sure that I'm not talking crazy. Yeah, if you had, if you had a reference with the chair to explain how sharp it is, that would be really good. There is some really good details in here with like the seams and like kind of creases in the normal map.
Mhm.
Where it feels like it's falling a little flat is literally it's flatter than you would expect. I guess if we go with like the generic like chair leather like pin cushion like chair. I don't know if this is called a pin cushion leather chair or whatnot, but the design of these usually are the pins are quite deep, so you get a lot of
Mhm.
depth out of that out of the overall look. But there's a lot of work that went into the armrest area, which is really nice to see. It just feels like it's very sharp. You know what I mean? On these main edge points, not the creases. The creases look pretty cool, like the folds in the leather.
Thanks.
But yeah, if you were to push those further in and like inflate these non-pinched points, these like areas of rest outwards, I think you get much more volume out of the look that you're going for. You can see too like where they meet. It's almost like I can tell that this they meet there and then that's it. Whereas if you did it in your high poly where you actually took this piece before you brought it into ZBrush and separated it out and made it its own piece, you can kind of fake that they're actually folded into each other and there's that crease, that seam that's on the inside. Right now you can tell it's just like
Hmm.
a inner corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the material goes on it, material's pretty nice. Maybe if the buttons were a different value or if they were gold, if there was a design to it, right? You've got like little man, I don't even know what those are called, but the little buttons in the
Yeah.
that are pinned into the base here. Those look like they're gold, so those could probably use like a metallic value to them, or like they're like a brass or something.
Yeah. I think they're brass.
Tax, yeah, yeah. I guess it could be tax. I don't know. Tax sounds so temporary. As in chat.
I've never heard the word tax.
Yeah,
I think
rivets. I think
I
rivets is more accurate. But yeah, it's. I mean, it leads into this kind of like understanding how like what everything is built out of and like how to like how things are created. Um, but yeah, and then the little side table looks. I would say the side table looks really good, just because the resolution's really nice. I'm not sure, uh, poly count wise, it looks a little high. Is this so when you're making these, were you thinking about like real like you wanted these to be real time in game, or is this just you're just going for it? You're just building.
for this project, I I mean, usually when I do a personal project, I don't want to like keep myself limited when I'm doing
Yeah,
a. If I don't want to do it game ready, but I also don't want to go like really overboard. So I'm kind of keeping poly count in mind, but I'm not restricting myself, so to say.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if I'm like,
Mm,
if if I see like, hey, this edge could use another edge loop, usually for round shapes, I will like, yeah, just go for it.
right. Okay. Yeah, because I mean there is geometry that's there that you you probably don't need. Um,
Yeah.
but given what you're saying, I think that makes sense. It's
Oh,
it's those details though that'll make people wonder like if like what the plan was, right? So if you can
mm-hmm.
think about like being optimized in a way where it's it's still high poly enough that you're getting the details that you want, but it's not like becoming solid like in these little rivets here. Or they did a quick search in chat. They're called steel studs or turfing buttons. Apparently, knowing these things is semi important. I would say it's a good idea to research your asset to understand like why why creases happen where they happen when you build like say you build a couch, because then you'll understand things even further. But yeah, we're going pretty deep into this, so I will move on to the other some of the other work that you've put together here um, with super fast art station. So okay, we've got a hallway with some storytelling going on. Storytelling's huge, by the way. I love. Oh man, dude, this that chair with the what is that, a hoodie on there? What is that?
A military jacket
Is it
sort
a
of
military jacket?
stuff. Yeah, that.
Dude, in the initial shot, I didn't notice the chair because of the tonal similarity to everything around it. So I
Mm.
thought it was like some type of weird body just floating there. So what I'm talking about when I say tonal, like tonal, what's the how do you say it better? I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it, but essentially the tone value, like the value between all of the assets around it, is very similar. So
Uh,
like you can't separate it from like the floor or the props behind it. So like for example, if the chair was as light as the wall, it instantly will separate itself from everything around it.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, let me see what else is going on in here. Yeah, so you have a room, you have a hallway. There's no escape. This is really dark. I love it. This is what happens, man. Post-apocalyptic. Like I worked on Division for way too long, so I instantly start reading into everything. Yeah, but okay, let me. Oh, and here's the radio. Nice. Yeah, so you can see the radio is quite dark. I'd be
Yeah.
interested in seeing like the albedo only view of this. Is this this is in Unreal as well? So
Yeah.
there's the buffer view, right? In Unreal. That's a
Excuse me.
great way. It's called a like the debuffer. It's a buffer visualization that allows you to see every one of the maps. Um, like as they are. So if you do like the buffer visualization of roughness, it'll basically give you the same render but only the roughness view,
Mm.
and so you can see everything in how they all relate or interact with each other from a roughness standpoint. So when I say like seeing like the base color or the color view, um, I'd be curious to see what the color and the roughness look like separately of this entire scene, because it'll probably help us understand why the radio is so dark, and like there's certain panels that are really dark, or the jacket for example, the inside of it is basically black. um, and understanding why that's black, we can go in and then address those, and um, by understanding which maps it's an issue in, you can address those and shift them to a PBR value that's accurate to the material that you're trying to represent, and then everything just automatically starts to click visually. Um, Man, I feel like I'm talking a whole lot. Do you have any questions? Because we're moving into like the 30-minute mark, and I was just like, oh man, I'm just going
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I mean, you are reviewing my work and you gave a lot of details that I can pay attention to in the future. So it's great.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just let me know if you have any questions. And if we run out of time, which I feel like we always run out of time, don't hesitate to message me or like ping in the Discord and just at me. I will
Yeah.
like I'll respond. I'll get to you. Um, and maybe I can clarify anything if there's something that you're missing, uh,
Right.
or that you're curious about that we didn't get to cover. There's a really nice amount of detail on the ground, like the little small micro information. That's really cool.
Thanks. Thanks.
Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a handful of things that I would still want to mention. I'm curious if what else is in here real quick. Is this a weapon?
Yeah, it's
I feel like I've seen this before.
yeah, it
Did
was I asked some critiques in your stream a couple
Okay,
of
maybe I
months
critiqued
ago.
it then. Dude, I've critiqued so many things now.
Yeah,
I think I recognize it. Okay, I won't feedback on this then if I critiqued it.
yeah,
But it looks like you've got the this is 6 months ago, and it looks like you
yeah.
got the channel switching. It's still moving slightly, but it's getting better. Just just to
Another 6 months, and I
yeah,
probably
just to
get
highlight
it.
progress. And you're saying the map, so that's really good. Um, and then you've got this bat. This looks pretty good, man. Like when you look at it compared to your previous work, you can tell that you're leveling up your understanding of materials. I'm trying to see if there's a good way to describe some of the things that I'm seeing on here. A lot of the times, blood um, isn't too present in the normal map,
Mhm.
and I'm seeing some normal information. If it's really chunky, you know, like you really beat the crap out of the person, and like there's some stuff left on the weapon, that's when you'll start to add that normal information. um, but yeah, I would say the things that are sticking out to me on this bat is the overall saturation of the wood seems quite high. Maybe it could be little bit desaturated to be brought more into the PBR value. It looks like it was stained, not with blood, but you know, wood stain.
Mhm.
Um, so there's that blood. Depending on how long the blood's been there, it'll shift color, right? So it'll become darker and more. The saturation will go even further away. It'll become more desaturated, or not more desaturated, but more shifted into a different type of red. Um, so there's that to keep in mind, and then the wrap that's around. Rip Glen. Oh my god. Uh, the wrap that's around the handle, that area is very it feels very loose right now. So if there were ways to tighten that up and help us understand the details that you're seeing here, because it's hard to understand what these types of. I guess it's supposed to be like the fingerprints or your hand, the hand of whoever was holding it. It's like dirty hands, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, sort of. Yeah, that,
Yeah. So it could probably be a bit more of a gradient in that area. But dude, we're already at okay. Have to cut our I have to cut the rest of our chat, but I feel like I went through everything pretty intensely. Do you have any questions before I jump out to the next call?
uh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe if you would give me two areas to like improve on for my
Mm,
next project. I don't like a direction that like would make my props even like push them to the next step, so to say.
right. Okay. Yeah. So first, I think, do you want to be an environment artist or a prop artist?
Kind of a both.
Kind of both. Okay.
Yeah.
So build a small environment that's not too crazy. Like an environment like your cozy room would be really good. Something of this
Hmm.
scale, and then you can
Yeah.
focus on the assets inside of that. And I would say it's going to be a combination of really realizing the geometric shapes as well as the PBR values of those materials. Getting those locked in, that would check the box on another environment. It would give you more experience in prop creation, It would give you the opportunity to push your materials further, and it kind of checks all the boxes, I think.
All right.
But yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It gives me, like idea how to bring it together.
Yeah, because I mean, dude, your most recent piece is a clear step up in your understanding of materials and your attention to detail with the geometry. Like it's high res, but I mean at the same time, uh, I think you're just going for that look. You're going for the gritty like close up, which is really cool. Figuring out how to make that barbed wire look that good for games can be a little difficult, but like this looks like it's for like a in-game cutscene, for example. That bat has seen and done things, is what chat's saying.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
yeah,
I don't keep track of the chat, to be honest.
yeah, it's okay. I've gotten used to reading it while I go. So, um, but yeah, I'm sure you have some other questions. So just poke me and I can help you answer them.
Yeah, I will do that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your next project, whether it be a scene or a prop. I think it would be good.
Next one is a prop.
Yeah.
Almost. It's done. Should have
Oh,
posted
really?
before. Oh,
You can post it in the critiques channel and tag me, and I'll let you know where it's at in comparison to your bat.
all right. I'll do that tomorrow.
Dude, awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the feedback and review and stuff.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to share and be in the call. Being in the call is so much more. It's nice to have a response. All right,
Yeah.
man. I'll
Have
talk
a
to you
good one.
later.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Bye.